So today we're doing the fifth notes again in graphs and functions about writing linear equations, but we're going to be on the very last page of the notes. So this is the second day that we are working on this notes. So we're going to start by doing a review of parallel and perpendicular slopes. So on the left hand side it gives you three slope values. They want you to find the parallel and perpendicular versions of said slopes. So we know parallel slope stays the same. So the first one would still be 3. The second one would still be negative 1/2, and the last one would be negative 5. Perpendicular slopes say that they become opposite and the fraction flips, meaning it becomes a reciprocal. So if I were to take this, we know that this is technically a 3/1, and I know that bottom one is technically a negative 5/1. So now I'm set up to flip it. So for the perpendicular slope of 3, it becomes negative 1/3. For the second one, it'll become a positive 2/1, which is just 2. You don't have to write 2/1. And the last one will become a positive 1/5. So this should kind of be a little hint where we're going with today. So now we're going to tie in this vocabulary to the equations that we're writing today. So we're still using the same formula that we talked about in the lesson prior, the point slope formula. So again, we still have a point. So here I still have a coordinate pair. That's my x1, y1. I don't have the m explicitly given to me, but I have enough information to find the m. So this equation says, write an equation in a line passing through negative 1, 4 that is parallel to said equation. So we need to take this equation and solve for y. So my first move would be to subtract 2x from both sides. So I have y equals negative 2x plus 5. And I need to pick out what the slope is, so we know the slope is always the number in front of our x. So my slope right now is negative 2. The parallel slope will stay the same of negative 2. So the slope I'm using is negative 2, and the point I'm using is negative 1, 4. So now I'm ready to write my equation. So I have y minus 4 equals negative 2, coming from that right there, x minus a negative 1, coming from those two values. I'm going to change this double negative into a plus before I do any distributing. Now I'm going to distribute. So on the left side I have y minus 4. On the right side I distribute and I get negative 2x minus 2. And now I'm going to go through and add 4 to both sides. So I have y equals a negative 2x plus 2. And that is my final answer for that one. Letter B says write the equation in the line that passes through negative 1, 4. So again, the same point, but now the vocabulary changes and it says perpendicular to said equation. This equation is already solved for us, so I can see that my slope is negative 2. So I'm just going to write that again. And now I'm going to make a note and I'm going to put the perpendicular symbol next to my slope because I know I need to make it opposite reciprocal. So this is going to become a positive 1/2. Now I'm ready to write my equation with my slope and my point. So I have y minus 4 equals 1/2 times the quantity of x minus negative 1. Again, at this point I'm going to already change that double negative to be a plus. And now I'm going to distribute the 1/2 in. So I have y minus 4 equals 1/2 x. And 1/2 times 1 will just be 1/2. And I'm going to write this as a decimal, as 0.5. Now I'm going to add the 4 to both sides. And I will have y equals 1/2 x plus 4.5. If any of you chose to leave it as a fraction instead of a decimal, the fraction that you would have right here would be 4.5. So either way is acceptable. So that's it to kind of wrap up the fifth set of notes. So now we have written equations from every given scenario that you could possibly see.